Hey folks, another market update here. Still hanging out in the summertime cabana in middle part of August, but surely things are most likely going to start getting more interesting in the not too distant future from a seasonal perspective in terms of news flow as well. But in the meantime, I wanted to point out one opportunity that we are focusing on. It's been covered in the media quite well. I do think there's more opportunity yet to come here in this one though. So let's have a look at this real quick. And what we're looking at is the infrastructure play. We know that we are getting legislators to potentially pass this infrastructure bill in some shape or form, hopefully in the not too distant future. And I want to give you some perspective on this. So if you look at an ETF like PAVE, P-A-V-E, which I want to focus on in a minute, there's a lot of opportunity, but look at some individual names within this. Some of them have run a lot, like Rockwell Automation. Some of the very obvious names, I would agree, they're getting morbidly overbought, gone completely vertical. Some from a trading perspective, I'd be more cautious on something like Rockwell. But you dig a little bit deeper, and you start to see something like this one too is quite well covered. But nevertheless, United Rentals, what these guys do is they rent equipment, big machinery and that kind of stuff for building stuff, roads and even smaller projects, of course. But you look at something like United Rentals, and if we think that the infrastructure bill has a chance to actually come to pass, which is our current view, then you look at something like United Rentals, which has had a big run, to be clear, from last October into where we are now. It's essentially doubled. But nevertheless, there looks to be more room. It's a stock that's essentially based for multiple months since May, and it's now, since the news last week started to break out. You can look at something like Fastenal, F-A-S-T. Look at what they do, a lot of adhesive things, anything in that sort of space. They've run quite a lot too, but at least it's based a while. For the past few months, the stock's been basing very much like United Rentals, and it looks like it wants to go higher. Bullish trend in all of these. It's just, I think what we want to avoid from a more tactical perspective is when you look at something like this that's trending in the infrastructure trade, you don't want to focus on something that's gone parabolic. It's just the reward to risk isn't very good, because a lot of people will then, from a trading perspective, get stopped out if it has a normal mean reversion move to the downside. But that gets us back to this ETF, which is sort of a nice package, if you will, that you can get yourself exposed to the infrastructure trade if you believe in it. Of course, you have to actually believe that it's going to pass, and that, at least that's from our purview, that's kind of where we are. Now, of course, you could argue, are we going to see a sell the news event? Possibly, but remember, the infrastructure trade isn't something that's going to be over as soon as they pass the package. Really, all that stuff is really going to start happening at that point. So I think there's a lot more upside. PAVE is the chart of the ETF, the ticker, I should say, of the ETF. Have a look at it. It's basically based from 2018 all the way through November of last year, then started having a big run, then based since May like some of the other ones, and now it looks like it wants to go again. This is not a day trade. It's not something I expect to go higher, tomorrow right away, but I do think it's something that makes sense from a asset allocation perspective, and it does play into the current events as well. So something that I think makes a lot of sense. Have a look at it, do your own research. Until next time, give us a thumbs up, like, and we will see you soon. Any questions, comments, please leave them down below as well. Take care.